What is up, fans of Grapplers Talk? This is Dave coming at you with another episode each and every week. Thank you to all of the fans for tuning in and downloading Grapplers Talk. We really appreciate you guys and all the love and support we get out there in the jiu-jitsu community. It means the world to me. And I'm excited for this week's guest. I've been working on getting this gentleman on the podcast for quite some time. One of the most explosive competitors on the local scene here. He's always out there, always grinding, always working hard. He was the Arte Suave champion. He's going back out there to put a stamp on it and make his name and maybe make another run for the title here. But I'm sitting here with none other than the man, Carlos Cruz. What is up, brother? How you doing?
What's up, Dave? I'm doing well. I'm glad to be on the show. I know we tried setting something up, but I'm glad we can do it now.
Yeah, man. And I really appreciate your time and taking the time out of your training, your work schedule to be a part of this. I know you're a very busy man, but I just want to get right into it. And I want to talk about the backstory of Carlos Cruz and how did you discover jujitsu or grappling or martial arts? What was the reason you got into it? And how did you get to where you're at today?
Yeah. So I started jujitsu martial arts at 23. So it was like after college. And, as a kid, my mom would put me in like karate classes. I remember going with my cousins, but she was always like super busy, maybe didn't have a car. So I'd go for like a couple classes and then just not go back. And maybe like the same thing that just kept repeating as a like when I was a kid. And then growing up, I would always go to family parties and I would always like get in trouble for roughhousing in like the jumper houses. I watched a lot of WWE.
Okay.
I played WWF on the Nintendo 64. So I think I was like inspired by all those wrestling moves. But again, still never trained, just kind of watched those. And growing up, was super into like superheroes. So, in every action movie, right? You're just like you're sitting, you're enjoying the movie. The next thing you know, there's a fight scene, and I always thought that was like so cool. I'm like, wow, like I feel like that's like a skill you got to learn, just to whip out of nowhere. So it was just always like on the back of my mind. But it wasn't until after college where I like got an internship, started making some money. So I was like, all right, you know what? I saved up some money. Let me go to a gym and just sign up. And that's what I did. I did like Muay Thai for the first month and a half, whatever, and then I bought a gi. And first day of jujitsu, did not know what jujitsu was. Didn't know anything about it. But I remember rolling with like this like 6 foot blue belt, and we were just going back and forth, right? It was like super fun. At the end of class, all those endorphins were kicking in, and I was like, wow, this is like I feel like what I've always wanted to do. I went home and YouTube jujitsu, and I saw, wow, you can grab the pants, you can grab anything, other than strike, of course. So then, I actually didn't. I remember like after that first class, it was just always on my mind, but I didn't go back to it until like another month, just because I wasn't in that habit yet. But eventually, I replaced my everyday lifting habit with everyday jujitsu, and that's just how it started.
Yeah, it's important. You touched on something right there is creating that habit. And the experts out there, I'm not one of them, but the experts out there say it takes about 21 days to create a solid habit. So, for it being pretty close to a month for you to get into the swing of things, it makes sense, but people got to understand like showing up and getting in the routine of like I'm going to go train today. It's very important to develop your martial arts into a habit, right?
Yeah, I agree. I've had people tell me like, "Oh, is it like, do you look forward to training every day?" Like it was one of my old bosses at another company, and I was all like, sometimes I don't feel like going." And he's like, "Oh, okay, so it still feels like a job." I'm like, "Yeah, but uh, whenever I go on those days that I don't feel like going, I'm always happy I went. I had some good rolls, right? Did some good cardio. Always feel good, and I'm happy that I'm happy to be there.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It is always like that, when you force yourself into getting in the gym, no matter what, right? There's times where we don't want to be in there. There's times where we got things going on. And once you force yourself in there, everything goes out the window, right? Your whole mindset changes and you're just worried about training and doing your thing in the gym. So it's very important for people to understand that. But talking about how did you get into competing in jujitsu? When did that start in your jujitsu journey? And were you always like athletic or always out there competing in other sports other than jujitsu?
Well, I mean, in high school, I was on the cross country team, so I did do that. I wasn't like too competitive. It was mostly like, oh, let me just hang out with my friends. So I wasn't really like too disciplined with it. Um, and I after high school, I played a lot of street basketball. That was kind of my thing. I would be out there like every day for 4 hours,
Yeah,
just with the friends, right? Just playing pickup basketball. Um, and then actually, I developed. I woke up one morning and my heels hurt really bad, and I'm like, what the heck? And then the first few steps were horrible, and then it went away. I'm like, huh, weird. And then the second, third day, after the third day, I'm like, all right, let me look this shit up. And it was like Achilles tendonitis, so I couldn't run anymore. I couldn't do cardio. So that was around the same time that I signed up for martial arts for jujitsu gym, and the mats actually healed my my Achilles tendonitis, along
yeah,
with some other things, but that low impact. But in terms of competing, when I first started jitsu, I didn't know anything about like UFC or competitions. I was just there to like just to grow, just to better myself, learn some new skills. And then you start following some pages on Instagram, you start seeing some competitions, and then I thought to myself, I can do that. But it took some time because I started in 2019 and then 2020, right? There was COVID. So I did my first jujitsu competition. Well, I competed once actually at white belt. I got armbarred. Um, right, it was just like my first one, 6 months into training.
yeah,
I didn't actually I thought I was gonna go alone. I didn't really tell anyone, but when I showed up, like, the academy I was training at, they were there, so you're never really alone, you know?
yeah.
That was something cool to see. But, so after COVID, I did my first blue belt competition, and if you go on my smooth comp, you'll see that all my early competitions are just like L, L, L.
That's pretty
Uh,
common though, right?
yeah, and, I just kept competing. I feel like, it was just, it was out of my comfort zone. For my first super fight actually ever was on Arte Suave, and we have this group chat. I don't know if you know David Mitchell,
Yeah.
but he sends a message to the group chat saying, "Oh, hey, Arte Suave is having a super fight. We're looking for a blue belt." And I remember just typing and responding, "Me, I'll do it." Right? And at the moment, I'm just like, "What are you doing?" Like, but I just said, "I'll do it." So then once I was signed up, I'm like, "All right, you're signed up. Um, no going back." And I won by submission. So then, I really enjoyed it, just the whole process of like of growth of look where like dang, look where I was, and look where I am now, and I can just keep growing just by keep pushing myself. So, I just always sign up for competitions from then just for that constant growth. I feel like it's a challenge to look forward to. But, yeah, before jujitsu, I didn't compete in anything. I guess I was athletic, but again, just street basketball.
Yeah.
I lifted a lot, wasn't really, like, like, the teams or anything like that. It was just, but I had something inside of me, I guess, and I was able
Yeah.
to release it with jujitsu and just kept going from there.
Let me ask you, Carlos, where did you learn to or how did you develop that skill to chase personal growth? Like what instilled that? How did that become instilled into your life?
You know, I think it was started, like, after college. I mean, during college, I feel like I was kind of just like following like a typical roadmap. All right, let me just do these classes. Let me do this, get a job after. But then once I finished, um, I don't know, man. It's just like I thank jujitsu a lot for it because it brought it out of me. It was just something that motivated me, gave me some drive. So it's hard to say where it came from or how, but I think we all have it,
Yeah.
and it's just a matter of fact. It's just a matter of tapping into our creative energy to really let it go.
Yeah, there's something about jujitsu that I say it all the time on the show, but it's a creative martial art. It allows the creativity and the mind to think and do some really unique stuff that really doesn't seem possible. Where more traditional martial arts, you got the certain katas and it's done a certain way. It doesn't allow as much creativity where jujitsu it's almost in a sense the wild west, right? There's still people creating moves out there and positions and systems, right?
Mhm.
So it's always evolving, and to me, it's still a fairly new martial art. Where you look at some of these longer term martial arts like judo and stuff that's been around for a while, karate and different stuff. But jujitsu, it was started a little bit later, and it made its way to the United States in the '90s, and so it's a little bit different of a martial art. I feel like, and it's still in the growing stages,
Yeah,
if
it
you
definitely
will.
is. I
Yeah.
agree with that. And people at the highest level, I'll watch some matches, and I'll see their movements, and I'll be like, okay, I want, and sometimes those movements that they do, it's just on instinct. It's something that just happens in that moment because they themselves are still growing.
Right.
Um, and I had a bee land on me right now, but bees are nice as long as you don't mess with them; they won't sting you.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so I just kind of like I like watching the Rutolos a lot, the Tackett brothers. I feel like I try a lot of their moves, and when I'm rolling, sometimes in my mind, I like envision with like their movements, and I
Yeah.
just try to replicate them.
I'm glad you brought that up, Carlos. And if anyone's ever seen you compete, or if anyone's ever seen some of your reels on Instagram, like some of the stuff you do out there is pretty high level. It's putting it all on the line. A lot of cartwheel passes and flying knee cuts and different stuff that you're doing out there that most people are scared to do. What makes you try that stuff and go for it all, pretty much?
Well, so I feel like at first, I wasn't the best. I'm still not right at all, but my early mindset was, okay, I suck right now, but one day I'll be good. I just have to. That's just what I would tell myself. And then, so I wasn't really like, doing anything too crazy. But one day, um, there's someone, he's like from a earlier generation from my academy.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Jake. I guess he was known back in the day for doing these flying triangles. So one day I remember clearly it was like 1 a.m. and there was like a 10-second YouTube video on him doing a flying triangle at a like an in-house tournament. I This 10-second clip I watched like 110 times. I just kept pausing it, going back frame by frame,
Yeah.
seeing what he was doing, and then the next day at open mat, I hit it on someone, and then they were all like, "Bro, how did you learn that?" I'm like, "Oh, this is my first time doing it." Um, and I kept practicing. I have like different flying arm bars, but that one in particular, I just kept practicing it. And here's the thing: I'll go to like different open mats, different places, and people will tell me, Carlos, how are you still hitting these arm bars? If people just watch your videos, I would just tuck my arms in. But here's the thing: it was a couple of years ago at Worlds for in the gi at blue belt. I had the sixth seed in front of me, and I hesitated. He like pulled guard and extends his arm, right? I hesitate, and I still go for it, and I kind of land where I still have his sleeve. And I paused there, and in my mind, I was all like, "Whoa, this should have been over already if I didn't hesitate." and then he puts me in like single leg X, and I pass his guard from there. But I end up messing up. He ends up armbarring me. So I feel like after that, you have to go through like a traumatic canon event like that to make sure you don't miss those arm bars again. So when people ask, or like, "Oh, how do you keep doing those?" Or "Man, I can't get this. How are you doing? Can you help me out?" It's yeah, I feel like you have to go through something like that to really refine your movements, to touch up on them.
Yeah, you're very correct on it. And what do you feel like it is about you that makes you a tough competitor from a opponent's standpoint? Like, what makes Carlos Cruz a tough competitor to go against?
I feel like I'm really well balanced. I think if you look at all so my submission rate, I think is like over 70%. And they're all arm bars, but I'm attacking the legs. I'm going for like lapel chokes. I'm going for ankle locks, heel hooks. I'm kind of going for everything. But somehow I get once I see that arm extended, my body can just recognize that. So I think what makes me tough is that I'm just ready for any type of move, um, you know. And sometimes I'm still surprised because I have to remind myself before a match that yeah, I'm nervous, but my opponent probably is too. And then I'll look through my Instagram page because when I post reels and stuff, that's kind of mostly for me to reflect on, and I'll be like, okay, this is yes, like this is me. I'm confident. I can win. So I don't know. If they think I'm tough, and I mean that's on them, and hopefully it doesn't psych them out too much.
Yeah. No, I love it, man. Let's talk about your preparation and how you look into competition, right? When you got a big match coming up, like I mean, this is by far August 9th is Arte Suave's one of their largest events they've ever done. It's going to be a packed house. They're selling out the Civic Auditorium here in Stockton, which has so much history behind it. And I know a lot of people trying to jump on that card and get a match, but when you have something like that coming up, what is your preparation like? How do you go about training? What's the intensity like?
Yeah, so I'm super excited to be on the card. I love being on the show. I think it's really well run. There's always lots of great energy there. But for my preparation, once I'm like signed up, I'm locked in. So I'll train every day. Um, I guess I will turn it up. I'm trying to hit as many different moves as I can. Uh, and say it's someone who maybe is maybe a lower level or something. I'm not like trying to kill them. If I hit like a pass, I'll let them recover and then try to hit a different technique. I'm trying to do in a roll. I'm trying to make things happen. I don't like just kind of like stalling there. I don't like, you know, sometimes I know everyone's strategy is different, but in terms of rolling, I like to make use of the time with my training partners, and I just like to get into different positions. I like to make things happen.
So more of
And then
a catch and sorry to interrupt, but more of a catch and release style of you're not hunting anything crazy. You're just trying to keep the action moving, right?
I'll finish. I'll finish if it's there.
Yeah.
And then boom, right back to it. Like I wouldn't really like if I get a submission, it's whatever, and then just get right back to it. Um, but yeah, and then I'll hit the sauna every night, jump in the pool, make sure the diet is good. I do a lot of visualization in the sauna. Well, I feel like once my heart rate is up in the sauna, that's when I'll start focusing on visualizing, and then I'll start visualizing me submitting my opponent in different ways from start to finish. And it's hard to do, especially when the heat and your heart is racing, and then you're getting excited about like the event. So I don't know. I feel like that's been working for me.
Is that also how you calm nerves going into competition day? Like visualization, meditation? How do you go about keeping yourself in a good place or a good mindset during the day of competition?
For the day of, I feel like I feel good. Um, don't really have nerves. It's usually like a couple days before, and then once I get to the venue, that I actually get excited seeing everyone, saying what's up to some of the homies, and then maybe like oh, you're up in 4 matches, you're up in 3 matches, and that's when you start feeling a little nervous, but it's like that spider sense. Once you feel nervous, but once I hit the mats, that kind of all goes away,
Yeah.
and I'm just focused on my opponent in front of me, not really the crowd anymore or just anything, so I feel like it goes away.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely can. And the more you're out there, right? The more you can refine that skill of honing in those nerves and making sure you're all good in there. But you're one of the better athletes when it comes to cardio out there. Let's talk about how you build that cardio. I know you talked about some swimming and some other things that you do, but is there anything in specific that you do that may be a secret sauce that builds your cardio so well?
Secret sauce. I feel like, I mean, it's about like the diet, making sure you're eating your fruits, eating healthy, um, and I guess the sauna too helps out with that cardio. But also, I think it's like important to say that I like you'll see me just like all over the place, but I am tired, right?
Yeah.
I do feel it. It's not like I'm just like like a machine, right? I feel it, but I don't let it stop me. I'm tired, but I just keep going. And then for me in those moments of burst, like yeah, it's just like I just keep going. And then maybe like say I'm in the training room and we're getting pushed, we're going like different rounds with people. I'll feel the tiredness once the round is over, right? Take a few seconds to recover. And then once I start the next round with my training partner, you kind of just forget about being tired. You can't really like I feel like that's not really like a good excuse. Like, oh, I was too tired. I was too tired. That's what all the training is for. So it's not even really a factor.
Right. Right. You should have already worked that out in the training room ahead of time, right?
But I think, yeah, to better answer the question, it goes back to when I'm in the training room, our open mats. It goes back to like I said, I'm not just trying to be stagnant or just trying to be in a couple positions. I'm trying to do as much as I can.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's about, man. And let's talk about more specifically your match coming up August 9th. Do you know anything about your opponent or who you're going up against or anything like that?
Yeah, so we've actually competed once before.
Okay.
It was on the event called Roll with it too,
Yeah.
and I flying armbarred him uh in like a minute in like 20 seconds. So I didn't really get to see his game. He didn't really get to showcase his skills. Um and warming up for that match, I was like, "Oh, my back's a little achy. You know what? I'm no flying shit today. I'm gonna just pull guard and heel hook him." And then like a minute in, I didn't even have the right grips, but I'm just like, fuck it. And I just threw it up. It was crazy. It was like it was crazy. I had to like I threw it up. I broke my fall on the way down. I'm like, oh damn, look, there's the arm, and I just took it.
Yeah.
So this match this Saturday is gonna be in the gi. I know he's gonna really want to just showcase his skills, not get finished that quick. He's been kind of like following me, so he knows my flying attacks, but I'm not, my flying attacks, they're not really like, "Oh, I wanna get this." I'm not really, like, so stubborn on it. It's just kinda like an opening move, like, "Alright, let me just hit this, throw this up, and go from there." If they get caught, they get caught, but I'm not expecting to, like I don't want it to end that fast, or sometimes I don't know. I wanna do jujitsu, and if they get caught, they get caught,
Yeah.
but I'm looking
What's
forward to it.
what's so this match is in the gi, but we've seen you compete as a no gi competitor before. Do you have a preference on either one or as you're training, do you have a preference on training in gi or no gi?
I really enjoy both. I've been doing, a lot of training at Temp Planet Oakland with Michael Hillebrand. He's awesome. He really supports me a lot. But I feel like, yeah, I have done a lot of no-gi matches just because that's kind of what's been presented to me, but I've always been like a gi player. My home academy at One World Jiu-jitsu, we're mostly just gi.
Yeah.
And but I guess I'm able to transfer those skills into no-gi. But a lot of the times, even for open mats, I'm just doing gi. And then when it comes to like I have a no-gi match or something coming up, I'll switch into no-gi, right? Just to get into better flow. But I enjoy both. I think personally, I think gi is a bit harder just because it slows me down, right, with those grips. And no-gi, I'm just able to just be everywhere, escape, so slippery. It's a little harder to stitch things up. I enjoy both.
Yeah. Let
I'm
me ask.
actually doing sorry.
No, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish.
I'm doing a Master Worlds at the end of the month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first master tournament.
Master Worlds, man. Let me ask you this question, okay? This is a good one. I've been talking about this quite a bit lately, especially on the show. But what do you think it is that we could do differently in gi competition to make it more fan friendly? To maybe get those UFC BJJ shows with the gi.
Yeah, I think it all just comes down to the people who are competing. People don't want to lose. Maybe their nerves or something, and sometimes just won't be too exciting. So it really depends. It really has to be both people wanting to just go out there and scrap and showcase their techniques. And like I said, right, just want to create different movements and just do jujitsu. One thing that I think is annoying is that when I have people in my close guard in competitions, I expect them to stand up because that's what you do when you're caught in someone's close guard, right?
Right. When
I
you're
do that
stuck,
as soon as
yeah.
if I'm in someone's close guard, I'm working. I'll sure take a few
Get to the
moments to
feet.
work on your base, but get to your feet. Be ready to get for your opponent to try and sweep you, right? Get ready for the counter and continue doing jujitsu. So I feel like a lot of times when people are in my close guard in competition, they're just there. They're not doing anything. Uh, and then I'm like, in my mind, when I'm like, bro, you're making us look bad. Like, I think that I'm like, you're making us look bad. Come on, like, I'm not gonna open my guard. Like, I will, like I'll try to do a sweep, like a hip bump sweep, or try to do some arm drags from close guard. But at the same time, I just don't want to open my guard and just let you out for no reason. You know, so that's kind of like I feel like sometimes I think it's depends on the athletes. So if we really want to make gi jujitsu take off again, I think it's still popular, but not as big as no gi for those like bigger shows. It's really on the athlete's responsibility to put on a show and not be afraid to lose.
Yeah. Do you think maybe some adjustments to the rules, or like instead of like as much of a point structure, more of a super fight structure, or something we could do different like that that would help increase some popularity with it?
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many different rules, right? I think, let's see, off the top of my head, I haven't really thought about it, but since brought up close guard, if you're stuck in someone's close guard, you got 10 seconds to try and get out. Maybe
Right.
maybe something like that. Maybe
Yeah.
if obviously like if you're mounted, maybe your opponent has I think IBJF has like I forget the rule, I need to look it up. I think it's like 20 seconds or something that you can hold a position for that long and then you can start trying to advance. So I guess that rule's kind of already out there, but maybe shorten the time limit on it. And it's 20 seconds, may make it 10 seconds.
Yeah. Definitely something like that. I've thought of more stalling penalties, or something along those lines that would be you got to keep the guys moving. You can't keep them in these rest positions like you said. Point of closed guard, like you got to get standing up. You got to get them to open up those legs and get them moving, right?
Yeah.
So Carlos, so talk about your match coming up this Saturday, right? And what's gonna be your game plan? What's gonna be your idea, if you have any predictions for the match, on how you think it's going to go. I know you finished him last time with a flying armbar. Do you think we might see that again, or are you going to fill him out a little bit?
I always come up with like, okay, like with a certain strategy, but I feel like I just go out there, and once we make contact, I think that's all I need to really feel my opponent out, and then I'll just go from there. Predictions: submit him by armbar, maybe a punch choke, um, get to his back, something. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna go out there and be ready. Maybe he'll pull guard so that I don't do a flying pull on him, and if he does that, I mean, I'll just be ready to pass right away, break some grips. I'm just gonna go out there, have fun, and hunt that submission.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be a good show, man. It's been a while since we've seen you in the Arte Suave organization. I feel like it's been a little bit of a minute, but what do you got your eyes set on? Are you gonna try to make another run for a title in Arte Suave at Purple Belt? Maybe a gi or no gi title or anything like that on the horizon for you?
Well, let me give you some a cool plot. So I think the last time, so right now on Arte Suave, I'm 8-2. I've lost. So in across super fight promotions, I was 10-0, and then I lost against Will Alexander by decision. And then after that, I did like some other super fights, and then I was able to win a couple, and then I got back on Arte Suave, and I fought another Will, and he got me by submission. So, and then most recently, I did submissions on the shore in San Rafael, and I faced Mateus,
Yes.
and yeah, and that was our fifth time competing against each other. I beat him four times in the past, so it went into overtime. It was EBI, and he got me in an armbar, and I don't remember anything. It was in the moment. I start tapping, and he just keeps cranking it, and my arm just goes pow 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 pow, and I'm still tapping, and then my forearm goes to pow. Um, so my brother was actually supposed to have a match with him on this card, but I think he got sick or something. So now it's my brother versus Will Alexander. So I don't think it's not a title fight, but it's cool because I think my brother, he'll probably be up for the title. We're like the same weight class, so I'm not sure how it's gonna work. Um, but if like any type of title shot comes my way, I'll take it, of course. I'm just want to keep competing, keep getting some wins by submission, and my brother just got his purple belt like last month too. So, I expect him to also to win a title. I was the blue belt champion on Arte Suave, and then when I got promoted to purple, I won the purple belt title, and then my brother won the blue belt title. So we're just trying to take over. We're just
Yeah,
trying to,
you guys are just trading belts back and forth. Now let me ask you hypothetically, say your brother, even though this isn't for the title, right? Say he gets a title shot along the way or you get a title shot. Do you think we'll ever see a brother versus brother for Arte Suave for the title?
mm, if that's what like it comes out to, just because we've beat everybody, then sure, I don't think we're against it. Uh, there's a tournament called Legacy Jiu-Jitsu, a Legacy tournament, and they didn't have too many signups, so me and him competed like 3 or 4 times
Yeah.
against each other. Right? It was like fun. It was fun. Yeah, I think I beat him twice, and then he beat me once. He's super good. I mean, he's taller, stronger than me, but we are the same weight class. But I don't know. I mean, that'll be fun to watch, right? Brother versus
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know if
see the
they'll make.
Bertolos, right? And they've gone up against each other in the finals at Worlds before, and it's usually a very interesting match. And with it being jujitsu instead of MMA, it makes it a little bit easier to do something like that, right?
Yeah, so I mean, that's what I'm saying. I feel like whenever I've seen like teams close out, and then I've asked a few people, "Oh, why'd you close out?" And like, "That's my teammate." I can't. We know each other's game or something. I don't know. I'm not. I like. I would still go for it, even if it's like a teammate, not for like any, just respectfully, of course, right? Because we if say me and him are both like training hard and we get a match, right? Then why not take it? Put on a show for everyone, and just have fun with it. And at the end of the day, one of us wins. It's a win for both of us.
Yeah. Now, Carlos, we're gonna take a little bit of a different turn, and I wanna know what's some of your favorite pastimes outside of jujitsu.
Pastime outside of jiu-jitsu, dang. Okay, I like to hang out with friends. I like to eat a lot, go to restaurants, Korean barbecue. I like to
Are you the
longboard.
one cooking when you're at the Korean barbecue?
Sometimes I'll lose focus in conversation and I'll burn the meat a little bit, so they'll have to switch cooks. Uh, but yeah, I like to longboard. Let's see what else. Honestly, jiu-jitsu's been taking up a lot of time. I like to go on hikes. Uh, I've been going to some salsa classes on the weekend. That's super tough. And I mean, I like to travel too, but I like to do a lot of things. I like reading. I like learning about history. So if there's anything about like ancient history, we can talk about that. I like physics and science.
Yeah.
uh, One thing, okay, so I just finished this audiobook. It's called Mastery by Robert Greene. I'm like listening to it again, and there's something cool that he mentioned, that one like every like so in order to as you grow into an individual, or into a person you're going to be, you have to have like a purpose, but you don't know what it is yet. And then once you find it what it is, you have to work every day towards it, because time isn't on our side. And the way that you find what your purpose is, even if you don't know what it is that when you're like a kid, you have high imagination, you're creative. But as you get older, society might kind of strip those things away from you. You can't let it. You have to still tap into that creative energy. And then, since every human is different, every person has different experience, we have different connections. So what he was saying was, if you keep on this path of creativity and following just all these things that inspire you to be creative, then eventually those neuron connections will click and you'll find your unique purpose. And you'll just have to yeah, and then from there, work towards it, if that's what you
Yeah.
want to do.
That's
So
amazing, man. Yeah.
I think that's kind of what I'm working towards right now. I'm like, what am I going to do? What's my fate?
Yeah, no, I mean everyone's kind of searching for what they want to do in this life, or when we're all kids we have these ideas, and I was into WWE too, so I always thought I was going to be some sort of a WWE star or something
Yeah.
like that. Instead I learned jujitsu instead of pro wrestling, but very very similar style path, but we all have dreams, we all have visions, and then somewhere along the line, as we get older, it does change. But never stop searching, right? You said something important. We're all on this earth for a limited amount of time. That's something none of us can escape, and life's too short to die saying you never, did what you didn't want. You never did what you wanted to do, right? And that's what it's about, like following your dreams, following your passions, following your goals. That's how this podcast was originally started, and trying to get out there and get in the community and give people a platform like yourself, that we
Yeah.
could all spread the knowledge and experience that martial arts has given all of us. And it's all a unique experience. I've talked to so many people now, and nobody tells me the same story. It's always uniquely different to them, and it's something special, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and also, going back to that book, that the audiobook I listened to. So it talks about like it brings up different masters. Like it talks about Michael Faraday, it talks about Einstein, it talks about Edison, and how it led to how they became who they are, right? So for example, Einstein, he didn't grow up as a kid saying, I want to be a scientist, I want to be a physicist. It was more he grew up thinking, I want to understand the world around me better. And then that's kind of where it led him to those paths. So it doesn't start off with, I want to be a jujitsu competitor. I want to be this. You know, it's maybe for me, it was, you know, I want to grow. I want to expand my skills as a person, and led me to jujitsu.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how we get into it, right? Everyone gets into it for a different reason. You know, some people are trying to make it to the UFC, some people are just trying to lose some weight. You know, there's a uniquely different reason we all get involved into it somehow. But, you know, the thing is we're all there, right? We're all into it somehow and some way and the possibilities, you know, I tell people all the time, I look them in the eyes, jujitsu will change your life. It will teach you things that you never knew that you had in you. And you know, they look at me like I'm crazy sometimes, but man, once you try it out and once you experience it, you know, it really is a true thing that happens.
Yeah, and you really have to experience it, or else, you know, you just won't know. I feel like, yeah, jiu-jitsu has allowed me to travel. Like I've gone to, you know, I've gone to Brazil. I went to Paris for the Europeans. I've gone to Vegas. You meet a lot of different people, and that's just all from that jiu-jitsu drive. So I think it's awesome.
Yeah. It's wild that you say that you're able to travel because I mean, years ago you never would have thought jujitsu would be that big that, you know, these worldwide tournaments and you know, it's exploding the way it is nowadays to where these things are possible and you know, you can travel to Brazil and go to all these cool unique places and get good training and good life experience, right?
Mm. You know, when I went to Brazil, I went with like a group. It was like a jiu-jitsu camp, and I remember going into an academy, and then everyone was all like, "Oh, we're like Halloween candy to these guys." And then in my mind, my competitive nature, I was like, are we going to be? And I remember having I was a blue belt, and we are playing like King of the Hill, and it was this purple belt, and I just like flying armbar him, and then he was supposed to go onto the back to the wall, and he like looked away from me and just stayed on the mat, and I'm like, oh, all right, whatever. So I just went back. I just went back to the wall, but it was cool to see that jujitsu is jujitsu everywhere.
Yeah. Talk to me about you said you got to go to Paris to compete in Europeans. Tell me what that experience was like competing overseas and how did you get used to like the time differences and all the different things with travel?
So yeah, I think that was a great lesson for me, like in life in general. So um I got there like 3 days before the tournament, but oh man, so when I get to the airport, right, everyone is just sneezing everywhere. And I didn't think to wear like a mask or anything. And then um everyone is just like kind of coughing. I'm like, whoa, what the heck's going on? Right. Long story short, I get sick when I land in Paris. Like I meet up with who I'm meeting up with there. We had like this Airbnb, and then we like walk to like the Eiffel Tower. We get some food, get some groceries, and then as soon as I get back to the Airbnb, I'm like, oh no, and it just hit me like a truck. Like my body, I had the aches, I had a fever, and the tournament is in like 3 days, and I was all like, well, um, they were all like, are you still gonna compete? I'm like, yeah. Uh, I tried to like, I went to like a sauna, I'm trying to sweat it out. I tried to like go out and still walk and do things. And then but then the day of the tournament, right? I think I had a no, my opponent had a bye. So then he was like number 6 seed. He got me. It wasn't good. Uh, pulled guard, put me in a triangle, tried fighting out of that, and then he armbarred me. He was a lot taller and bigger too. Oh, and then I was like underweight. But here's the thing: going to Paris was like for me was just like, okay, I'm gonna go for this tournament, but I'm not gonna go to I'm not whatever happens, I'm there for the overall experience. For the tournament, to check out Paris. I took the Eurostar, I went to London after, was there for a week. And then, after the tournament was over, a friend, he didn't do too well either. And then he said, once you lose, these negative thoughts will come to your mind. People will be like, before people will always be like, oh, it's all lessons. You can't let it get to you. But then once you experience loss, even though you know that, you're still gonna feel these emotions. So sometimes you'll hear people say, "Oh, at least I got a sweep. That's worth it." Or at least I won the first match. That was worth it. Or if you didn't do anything, oh, I wasted $1,000 or something like that, right? So then it made me think, what is it worth it, right? Um, and yeah, you get like kind of bummed out, but then, and I was still like sick, but no matter what, you still have to keep moving forward. I had my Eurostar ticket, so I went to London, and like I said, I like history, so it was on my bucket list to go to the British Museum. So I checked that out. Um, Trained at 10 Planet London, ate some food there, did some, just did some exploring. And by the time when I got to London, it kind of like the fever, whatever I had, already kind of like died down a little bit, but I still had like a little bug. But I was like, no, I'm here. I can't. I still have to wake up. I still have to do what I came here to do. So, you know, the experience overall, even though I lost, I think it was amazing because I got to travel, met some cool people, and I think that's just what it's all about.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Like that kind of life experience, dude, no one's gonna be able to take that away from you. And it's very cool that you were able to do that. And even Brazil too. Like, I mean, getting to train in, I call it the Holy Land, right? That's the mecca of jujitsu, and getting that experience, and getting to train anywhere in Brazil is an amazing thing to add to your resume. And you'll look back and be very thankful that you were able to do that one day. And that's the thing. Jiu-jitsu opens these opportunities for us, and it's up to us to capitalize on them, and get out there and do the damn thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Win or lose, right? You can't let it affect you too bad, right? Like if it affects you in a way where you want to get better, then yes. But you just can't let it defeat you.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to back up a little bit. Something that came to mind, right? You said your brother's going up against Will Alexander, and Will's a great friend of the show, and I'm always supporting you guys. And are you going to be cornering your brother for that match?
Yeah, so we always corner each other. Whenever we go to any tournament or show, you'll see like both of us there, and we're each other's coach. So at the end of the day, I feel like we're both like we're not like black belts or anything. We're like or like master strategists. We're kind of just out there, just cheering each other on, maybe throwing out some ideas, things to do. But I feel like at the end, we just do our own game. And sometimes we'll mess around. We'll be like if I called something out and then he did it, oh, see, man, I won you that match because I called it out and then you did it. And then you're like, oh, I was already gonna do that.
Is there anything with you having experience against going against Will? Is there anything that you're prepping your brother in specifics for with that match?
Mario's actually faced Will before in the gi a couple of years ago in jujitsu battle, and he beat him. He submitted him. So, and I mean, he's been there. Mario's been there. He's seen us compete. So I think we're not really like doing anything to prep. We know he's strong, but at the end, Mario's gonna do what he does, do his game, and he's gonna come out with that win.
Yeah. That's exciting, man. There's a lot of brothers and family members on the card. We got the whole BBB squad, the whole Foster family competing on the card, all of the sons. Even Kalani's granddaughter's competing. You got you and your brother both competing on the card. That's exciting. It's gonna be an awesome event, man. I'm looking forward to it. I actually have an exciting announcement. Grapplers Talk is going to be giving away a couple awards. We're looking for submission of the night and performance of the night awards.
Oh
Um,
wow, okay.
we're excited. We're going to be giving out some special little prizes with these awards, and I'm going to sneak this onto the show for the very first time. This is our
Oh,
Grapplers
sick.
Talk award,
A plaque?
a plaque, and not only that, with a couple of awards, we're going to be giving out some prizes from our sponsors. We got a copy of Sub Roll from our friends over at Butterfly X. We got some Spar Bar sample soaps, some towels, some fun stuff for this event, and we are excited to be there providing the best grappling content, man, for everyone on the internet. And I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't wait. I know it's going to be a packed house. I know it's going to be an awesome event. Arte Suave always throws down, and I'd seen last night they posted they're going to have an acai person there, and this is the best acai according to a lot of people. They're at Half Gracie Open Mats, and some of the best acai in the Bay Area that you can find.
I've
There's
had it.
also, yeah, you've had it, huh?
So I go to the Half Gracie Berkeley Open Mat every Sunday. Um, yeah, so I look forward to that acai when I go train.
Yeah. My last guest, David Joven, and I, we're going to be posting a picture with our acai bowls together, holding it down. There's going to be a lot of stuff. The people, there's going to be a special manufacturer. They have this tape roll that you can use, and it's kind of a cool thing. You hang from your bag, and you can tape up your fingers very easily.
Oh, the rip and roll. Yeah, Eduardo.
Yes.
Yeah, so he also pulls up to the Half Gracie Berkeley Open Mat. I've had I had a chance. He gave me one, and it's super cool. The reason I never taped my fingers just because I just feel like it takes too long to rip, and then when you rip it, it bends the tape. But with this tool, super easy, and
Yeah.
it's like okay, yeah, I need this.
Yeah. So we
Shout
got
out
it.
Rip and Roll.
Yeah, they're going to be at the event. The event kicks off, I believe, at 3 o'clock. But be ready to throw down. It's going to be an amazing event. The crowd's going to be live. Arte Suave in Stockton. Okay, they're always the best events in my opinion. I've seen you compete out there a couple times, and man, are those events something else. I'm excited for the crowd. I'm excited for everyone that's going to be on the card. Man, it's a stacked card, right?
Hmm. Yeah. Even though there's some cool black belt matches I'm looking forward to. I remember I think it's important too to say when I first started competing, like at super fights, you would I would just like after I finished my match, I just headed out. But I think that's something that people need to like stop doing because I definitely stopped doing that. Whenever I go to a show, I stay throughout the whole show, just because I because as soon as people start competing, people leave. After they're there to watch whoever they were there to watch, the crowd kind of dies down. But I think it's important for everyone to stay and enjoy the whole show and to keep that energy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very important. And you said it best. Like, there's nothing worse than like, by the time the main event's going, it's the crowd's half the size of what it was, the energy's kind of just gotten less and less, this card is stacked from top to bottom too. So like you don't want to leave early on this one. You want to see, I mean, the lineup of black belts at the end is really going to be incredible to watch of what's going down, man. I'm pumped. I cannot wait for this event.
Yeah, same. I didn't actually know that was going to be like a sold out event, but it's at the Stockton Arena Civic.
Stockton Civic Auditorium.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I've never been there. I heard there's a lot of history with that place. So, yeah, I'm excited. Um, Usually, I feel like for some reason my brother always goes up first, but this time I'm first. So I'm hoping to go out there, set the pace, give us some good momentum. He's like a couple matches after, and then he'll do what he does too.
Do you guys have anybody else on the card other than you and your brother?
No, it's just us two.
Okay. So yeah, go check out Carlos and his brother, man. They're gonna be holding it down for their team. They're going to be performing here at Arte Suave at the highest level, man. This arena is no joke, man. There's so much history. I've been to MMA fights here when I was like years ago when I first got into jiu-jitsu, and I mean back in the day, there's WWE events there, believe it or not. I remember going and checking out
Oh, okay.
WCW and WWE. Back then it was WWF, but so much history behind the Civic Auditorium in Stockton, man. It's been around forever, and for jiu-jitsu to be taking it over, I'm pumped, man. I'm ready to go. But in closing, Carlos, how do people find you out there? How do people train with you if they want to ever get some rolls in?
Yeah, if you ever want to get some rolls in, stop by the Academy, One World Jiu-Jitsu in Newark. You can find me at Open Mats too, right? Half Gracie Berkeley on Sundays. But if you want to check out my stuff, my Instagram handle, it's Carlos Cruz BJJ.
Yeah. Check him out, man. Carlos is one of the top competitors out there. We're going to be seeing him this Saturday at the Stockton Civic Auditorium for Arte Suave. I don't even know what number event this is, like 40, 50, something like that.
This is 49,
49. So yeah.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting up there, but congratulations to Arte Suave for this event. I'm excited to see it. Other than that, thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thank you to our sponsors, Butterfly X and Spar Bar Soap. Go to Butterfly X on Instagram, BFX Gear. Type in code word Grapplers Talk 10. You'll get 10% off your rash guards, your gear over there. Also, take a look at my friends over at Spar Bar Soap. Go to their Instagram. If you go on their website and type in code word Grapplers Talk, you'll get the best after training soap out there, homemade here in the United States, here in California, at a discounted rate. But thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Carlos, for being a part of this episode of Grapplers Talk. You can check us out this Saturday at Arte Suave. But other than that, this has been another amazing episode. Before I wrap it up, Carlos, I got to give you a minute, man, for shout outs, brother. I always give our guests a few minutes just to shout out any of their training partners, anything like that. But just take a couple minutes. The floor is yours.
Okay. I mean, of course, shout out my academy, One World Jiu-Jitsu. Mike Prudencio there. He's the head coach. He creates a great community, right, where everyone shows up. And there may not be too many competitors there, but everyone is super tough. I mean, those are my main training partners and my brother's training partners. And we go out and we kill it. I also train often at 10 Planet Oakland, so shout out 10 Planet Oakland, Michael Hillerbrand, cool guy. Um, Good at training partners there as well. Very competitive, great space as well. And I mean, shout out Don, matchmaker for Arte Suave. I know he's been working hard on growing the event, making it exciting with all the matchups. So yeah, and of course, shout out you, Dave, for having me on the podcast. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, man, again for being a part of this episode. This has been another amazing episode of Grapplers Talk. This is Dave, and we are out.